All right, welcome to Saturday edition of Gen X Rated. How we doing, guys?
Good.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad. Sun's shining. It's not snowing, which is a big plus. I think the streets will finally get cleared before the cold comes through, but we'll see.
Yeah, snow's starting to melt a little bit.
Just nice to see the sun. The snow was pretty, but when people decided not to bother plowing it, it became kind of a nuisance.
Oh man, I went to the trouble. I shoveled out my my trash bins because they're by the side of my house. So I had to shovel like down the driveway, hauled them out, and of course they didn't come today.
They're a day late this week, so they'll come tomorrow.
Well, they were supposed to come yesterday.
Oh, well, then they should have come today.
They should have, but they did not. So
sounds like a Monday project.
Well, yeah, and I can't leave them out there because I put them in the only spot that was cleared out was in front of my driveway. So I have to move them to get my car out.
That would be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And Gene, I saw the big Iowa State basketball victory today. I don't know how they pulled it off, down by 4 with, I think it was 18 seconds left, and then down by 2 with 6 seconds left. Pretty impressive.
And then overtime, yeah. I don't know, man, they're ranked 3rd. They're good. Both of my basketball teams, the Cavs and Iowa State, are doing well so far this year. So,
yeah,
I'm excited. I watch a lot of basketball. I haven't watched a lot of Iowa State this year, just mostly the Cavs, because I don't have ESPN because I'm too cheap to pay for it, and I don't watch sports enough to care to own it. So, you know,
understandable. Well, much like college football, we're hoping the Pitt Panthers basketball team, which is I think 14-3. We're hoping that maybe they'll meet somewhere in the tournament. Actually, they're 12-4. My bad, but they have
the national championship game is set. I see, right?
Yeah, Ohio State had a big win yesterday.
Did you guys watch any of that or no?
Very little.
Games? Very little.
Did not.
I just wasn't on my list, sadly, but it looked like a pretty good game. I saw a late pick to seal it, and Ohio State's playing really well, so why not?
Are you going to watch the championship game, you think?
Well, we have hockey. I'll be on the ice.
Oh, okay.
But I'll catch the second half, maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I doubt I'll watch it. I have no interest in football in general, unless it's talking about the past or shitting on Roger Goodell or something. But other than that.
Well, we got a couple big games coming up, NFL-wise. The Texans will be playing the Chargers coming up, and then the Steelers and Ravens.
Is that today?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
The Steelers have the night game. I read somewhere that they're going to use your backup quarterback a little bit today.
Fieldsy. I think you have to.
I'd like to see
how are they going to use him?
Well, they just have some sets where he comes in. He's a really good run-pass option guy, and I think they missed that. Inside the 20, they've been terrible, and I'm not blaming Russ Wilson. I mean, you need a good offensive line as well. But
what happened those last 4 regular season games? What was the disconnect there?
Oh, well, the play calling was terrible. They insisted on trying to run the ball when they couldn't. And Russ only looks one way. He really avoids the middle of the field. He likes to roll left, and he'll throw left. And meanwhile, you've got guys open in the middle and on the backside. He just doesn't even look at them.
Well, in that rollout, you cut half the field of your options anyway. Part of the problem has just been, handling the ball and ball security. The last time we played the Ravens, Wilson's going into the end zone. He fumbles the ball. That's a turnover. He threw a terrible pick 6 on a screen pass right after that. Last game where he tried to run into the end zone, he fumbled again, getting hit. He had a clear path to the end zone. So some of it's on him. I don't want to beat this to death, but on the last drive against Cincinnati, he had enough time to get down the field. He had an option to get out of bounds. He did not. He ran into 3 defenders, and then the clock tick, tick, tick. Tomlin didn't call a timeout, and they ran out of time, essentially. But he's not been good. And a guy with that kind of experience in the 2-minute drill, I expect a lot better.
Maybe you could do a swap, trade him for Aaron Rodgers next year. He go play for the Jets.
One headache for another.
Well, this league works the way you know, Gene. He'll end up getting $30 million somewhere. I just don't think Russ Wilson will be getting that in Pittsburgh.
No.
Fair enough.
Although the speculation has already started about Aaron Rodgers coming to Pittsburgh, but I don't see that.
Clickbait.
Well, you are Steelers fans, so good luck to you. You know I don't give a shit. I'm a Browns guy, so
Win, lose, or draw. I'll still.
I
have
think
a
we
good
lost to
one.
the Texans last year in the first round of the playoffs.
We watched that game, remember?
The Browns were in the playoffs last year.
They were. Joe Flacco led them in. And then
yeah, and we didn't re-sign him, and he was available. Can you believe that shit? And now he's playing for who? The Colts or something?
Colts, and he's won a couple games already.
Mhm.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't own a team. I don't know what they do in their production meetings. I don't know what they do in any of the. I don't know. I have no clue. But it's been bad for 24 years here. I mean, terrible for 24 years. This storied franchise.
And you've had a lot of talent and just kind of misused it. Either you have the talent, you have bad coaching, or vice versa. So,
two Super Bowls for Baltimore. That's our fucking team.
Mhm.
2 Super Bowls for them, and then we get back this shit sandwich, and we've rifled through. I don't know. Is it 40 quarterbacks now? I have no
starting
clue.
quarterbacks. Yep.
Yeah, that dude's going to need a bigger shirt.
Oh, the one that has the jersey with all the names on it. What a
Yeah.
great idea! I would sell that motherfucker on eBay. It's got to be worth a fortune.
Probably could get a few signatures on there.
He started that thing like 20 years ago. Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Like I think Spurgeon Wynn was number 2 on that list.
No,
That
number 2.
That dude was in the World League with Homeboy, with the Amsterdam Admirals.
God.
I met that guy when I was over there visiting.
Couch must be number 1. Or no, was it Ty Detmer? Ty Detmer was on there.
Was Ty Detmer before Couch?
I think so.
Were they the same? Oh, was he? Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, it's that's crazy.
And Couch would have been good if he hadn't torn up his shoulder.
And credit to the guy who can still fit in that jersey after 20 years. Props.
And Deshaun Watson apparently has retorn his Achilles.
He did.
But nobody knows how. And the trolls are out there going, now you can take his 90 million back because you got to find out how he did it. But I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, well, and the other part of that is the team will get relief. They did re-sign him to cut down some of the cap number, and if he was hurt during rehab like that, it won't count against the club. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, dude. He's not playing another snap here. Just pay him his 96 million.
I don't think he's playing anywhere.
Draft, find your next quarterback or your next.
How many starts did he have in Cleveland? 22, I think.
Yeah.
Unheard of. For $324 million or whatever it was. That's crazy.
Oh, it's going to go down in history. Ryan Leaf can sleep well tonight. It's going down in history as the worst quarterback trade deal that there ever was.
It was really just the guaranteed money that really made that.
And the Browns pissed off every owner, and then Deshaun was a bust anyway. So
that's right.
Ryan Leaf and Jamar Russell can sleep well now.
Yeah, and he was a really good Texan.
I saw your boy Chris Sims was shitting on Brock Purdy, going, I'd pay him nowhere near market value the other day on a clip. And then I saw a clip of Chris Sims not being able to verbiage the dialogue that John Gruden had in a huddle. And John Gruden got all pissed off at him. They were trolling Chris Sims for trolling Brock Purdy. It was pretty fucking funny to see on the interwebs last night. But you have no choice but to pay. I mean, I don't even think Brock Purdy would want to be the highest paid. I mean, you might throw it at him and he might take it, but I'm telling you right now, he would probably take less than being the highest paid guy. And he's already played in 2 NFC championship games, I think. So
yeah, I mean, he's a good fit for that offense, really.
They're going to pay him, but if you want to win, maybe he takes a little less so you can get some more talent in there.
And I think
Brady always did.
I think he's a smart guy. I don't think it's all about ego and being the top. If he wants to keep, he's got 2 great receivers that are under contract right now, and McCaffrey. Why would you want to be like lessening that?
He's got good endorsements. He lives in California. I think that team's going to be. I don't know if they're going to be a Super Bowl team like Kansas City year in and year out, but they're going to get a shot or 2.
Well, they're not a playoff team this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, it happens, man. You got to reboot. People get injured.
Oh, yeah.
It gets exhausting going to the playoffs year after year, too. As you know, if you go to the playoffs a few times, man, these bodies are worn down, these guys that played playoff game after playoff game. I still don't know how the Patriots did it. I have no idea how the Bills did it 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
With basically all the same players. That was incredible. I mean, they lost all 4, but they were they showed up to all 4. That was amazing.
Well, and it got worse every year. Like the first one was close. The second one was a blowout, right? They
Which
got
one were we
crushed.
at? Which one did we go to? The one in Atlanta?
Dallas.
We were, was it
How
the
they-
last, their last one? And yeah, the one in Atlanta with,
Okay, that was the
yeah.
last one. That was my first Super Bowl I ever went to. So
Yeah, mine too, dude. And we were sitting like in the same section.
That's
yeah, it
great.
was super weird.
Well,
Yeah.
95, when the Steelers played Arizona, I want to say the league was offering Super Bowl tickets for under $100.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. I mean, that
Yeah.
just blew up in cost. So I can see why you wouldn't want to take your significant other or kids to the game. It would be pretty pricey.
You remember all the counterfeit problems they started having with tickets where they had to
Oh,
put
yeah.
holograms and shit on them? And now you don't even fucking do tickets, I don't think. You just do your cell phone, I
On your
imagine.
phone.
I'm
Absolutely.
sure they have some commemorative ticket, though, right? For a Super Bowl,
absolutely.
you're paying all that fucking money?
Yeah.
Super Bowl, absolutely.
I haven't been in a long time, so.
I
All
still
right.
have the ticket stub from the one that you played in.
Oh, you do?
33. Oh, yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, I have no idea where any of that stuff is.
It's around.
It's around. It's in
It's
a box
around.
somewhere.
So I just want to jump real quick. In the last hour, Jack Smith resigned, special counsel. This was going to happen regardless with Trump coming in. He might be another person that has to be pardoned because Trump's so butthurt, shall we say, at him. I think the last straw for him, Jack Smith, was that Garland, before they released this, because Judge Cannon wasn't going to allow it to be released before Sunday, the report was that Garland went to Trump's attorneys to see what needed to be redacted or what they didn't want to put out there, which to me just defeats the whole purpose. I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So thanks for trying, Jack. But
yeah, man, I feel for that guy. Can you imagine the frustration that he's got to be feeling at this whole thing? I mean, everything that he put into it. And dude, that guy was very good at his job.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you listen to one guy, all he said was he was mean, hateful, terrible person. And,
Yeah,
I have a
playground
question
insults.
for you two, though. I got a quick question.
Sure.
Is preemptively pardoning people, is that really a fucking democracy where you have to worry about a fucking a president coming in and illegally basically throwing people in prison because he wouldn't be able to do it lawfully? I mean, when you say what are we talking about here? Should we be pardoning people or should we not be fighting for this democracy? And if you started arresting people extrajudiciously, we should be out in the fucking streets. We shouldn't be preemptively pardoning people. We should not pardon anybody, and our asses should be getting out in the streets and encouraging young people to get out in the streets. Because if you don't get out in the streets and show them how unhappy you are, they're not going to do shit. I don't see them doing shit other than the status quo. What do you think?
And the crazy thing is, I mean, we've done it before. People have done it before. I mean, you had that giant protest against the Iraq War, right? You had the whole Occupy Wall Street thing, and it either doesn't get really much coverage, it's never taken seriously, or
my wife was at Trump's first inauguration protesting with about 1 million women, all in pink, wearing pussy hats.
Yeah,
with my daughter and my mother. So you know, it's yeah, dude. And I know people don't think it makes a difference, but if we do nothing, if we sit on our hands this time, middle class is gone, man. They're gonna steal it all because I don't even think Democrats give a fuck anymore. I just saw Pelosi's son apparently was at Mar-a-Lago for New Year's Eve hanging out with Ivanka and the crazy clan. So all this, he's gonna be a Nazi and Hitler shit. I mean, how did Bill describe it? Bill described it perfectly earlier today. That cartoon,
Wile E. Coyote,
Republican, yeah. Basically, that's what they're doing to us, right? It was
oh yeah. At the end of they battle it out apparently, during the campaigns and everything. But at the end of the day, they're all in the same club.
Sure.
So in that cartoon, they would the sheepdog and the coyote would go punch a fucking clock.
And morning, Ralph.
And then rip each other a new asshole all day as the coyote tried to steal sheep. And at the end of the day, they would go punch a clock and go have a fucking beer and a steak at a decent steak.
See you tomorrow, Ralph.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's what I feel like the Democrats and the Republicans are doing to us.
That's
right
exactly
now.
what it is.
I don't think they give a damn about the middle class. I don't think they care about growing it anymore. No. It's shrinking. Our kids are freaking out.
And to your point, I'm going to put this up, which is the definition of a kleptocracy, and it seems to be kind of where we're heading. to your
We're there.
point, yeah, if we're not there already. Just
We're
a couple
there.
of quick examples. 2/3 of all social media is owned by one person, Meta and Zuckerberg. 93% of all searches go through Google, and 50% of all e-commerce is through Amazon, which is Bezos. Seems like a lot of power for three guys controlling three giant industries. At the end of the day, it doesn't really help the middle class. It was said that building of the middle class was the greatest invention in history. And I think we've kind of lost sight of why that was so important, how it helped so many people and not just people at the top. And this is what we get. We get guys like Zuck, we get guys like Elon who think that they're super smart and above everybody else. It's now they're in our government. I mean, how do we try and get back to helping the people in the middle that need the help the most?
I don't know. It's a good question. It starts with winning elections, but who even knows if there's going to be another free and fair election? I mean,
There
dude,
will be if we get our asses in the street. And by the way, kleptocracy works like this. They shrink the middle class. They don't give a shit. And then Bezos gives that, what's her name? The first lady that's coming in.
Melania.
Melanie.
$40 million.
Melanie gets $40 million for a documentary. That's kleptocracy. That's what the fucking Russians do. They're enriching people that are already rich. So they can curry favor and get favors. They're doing it right in the open. They all donated all this money to his inaugural party.
Yep.
They didn't donate shit to Biden, but all of them are dropping $1 million on this guy. It's coming, man. And if we're not willing to grow the middle class anymore, I don't think Americans understand that a middle class is not a normal thing. What we did with this experiment in this country is highly unusual. It happened through a lot of hard work because there's always powers and forces that be that don't want that. They want to steal for the rich and enrich themselves. And somehow through the New Deal and a lot of fucking luck and being a melting pot, we end up having this middle class that was humming. And now all of a sudden it's come to a complete halt. Elon Musk is growing his wealth by billions of dollars a day.
Yeah, just to put that into perspective, Elon put $250 million into Trump's campaign. That's $250 million. And the return already in his companies, not just into his own pocket, but into his pocket through his companies, are up about $140 billion. So his return on investment was 5,600%, which is just not normal. They're just not normal numbers. And unless people are outraged by it and are willing to stand up to it, we're just going to watch it get worse at this point.
But I mean, what can you do? And here's the thing. I almost, and this is going to sound crazy, I almost feel sorry for the guy. It's like, because nothing matters. Your whole thing is just like acquiring more and more. You have nothing to really look forward to except what? More zeros, more decimals in your bank account. That's sad, I think.
And before we go to the example that I'd like Uncle Bill to share, the fastest growing demographic group in this country is billionaires. And that to me is just shocking.
I mean, look at this guy, dude. And honestly, I hate myself. And I'm as bad as anybody else. I order off Amazon, but I hate myself for doing it.
I'm with Gene. Until everybody's off, I have to stay myself.
I did finally delete Facebook, which I was never on anyway. I mean, there were like virtual tumbleweeds blowing through my Facebook page. So, but it felt good.
Yeah, good for you, man. On that topic of charity and wanting to give and why to give, I want to bring up Uncle Bill's topic here on Roberto Clemente.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When you have those kind of resources, right, you've got billions of dollars. You can literally write a check that you're not even going to notice that's gone from your bank account, but you can help so many people. You can make a difference, and that feels good. And, you know, Clemente famously said, you know, if you have the chance to do something good and make a difference and you don't, you're wasting your life. And this was a man, a Hall of Famer, an amazing baseball player, an amazing individual who literally gave his life for others. You know, after that earthquake in Nicaragua, he organized a mission, not a rescue mission, but a supply mission, because, you know, people were
Which
Everything
he
was
funded
devastated.
and bought the aircraft to have
He
it.
funded it.
rented.
He leased the aircraft, which was unsafe. It was overloaded. And the first couple shipments that had been sent out weren't reaching the people that need them because there was a US-backed dictator, Somoza, and the Somoza family running Nicaragua. And of course, they were taking everything. So it didn't get to people. So Clemente said, hey, New Year's Eve, 72, I'm getting on this plane. I'm going to make sure it gets to
Just
where it
got
needs
his
to go.
3,000th hit.
Yes, at the end of the season, had gotten his 3,000th hit, but just an amazing humanitarian. Got on this plane and he was warned. They were like, dude, this plane is not safe. He's like, hey, this needs to get through. I'm going to make sure I do it. And it took off and crashed.
And to add to the story, Manny Sanguian, who was a good friend of his and catcher, tried to get to the airport to stop him, and he got a flat tire on the way to the airport.
Got a flat tire. And
Why did he want to stop? Why did he want to stop him?
Because he knew that plane wasn't safe. He knew it was overloaded.
That plane was ridiculously unsafe. The pilot was unqualified. It was through a charter company. And so the Pirates were devastated. They had lost in the National League Championship Series, just months before that on a wild pitch. Right. So the season came to a crashing end. They were looking to repeat because they'd won the 71 World Series. So the team gathered in Puerto Rico for a memorial service. They were all there except Sanguian, who was actually out in the ocean swimming, trying to find Clemente's body because they were that close. Yeah. It's just, this is.
And they never found his body, correct? Or
it was shark infested water. Not very likely.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
They never did, but.
Well, a lot of that,
people can make a difference. They just choose not to. And, how many of us dig deep for $20 for the food bank or whatever when, it's not a lot, but it's something that maybe you feel, maybe you miss it, right? But to be able to write a check for literally $1 billion, you can end homelessness in a city, in a state. You just don't do it because all you want to do is add more. That's such a hollow and sad way to live. I feel sorry for them. I think it's pathetic.
It is. It's definitely.
Yeah. That's Clemente and billionaires aren't the same, though. A millionaire, multimillionaire named Scott Galloway that we'll probably talk about today, who's kind of on our side because he wants to grow the middle class. He said there's super earners and there's super owners. Clemente is a super earner.
Yeah.
Super earners are generous. Super earners give the food bank. Super earners charter planes. Super owners do not. They have there's no return on making a certain money past a certain point. They deal with depression. They're depressed. There's no happiness there. The more it's very true. The more money they have, the more fucking miserable they are. So yes, you're absolutely right. If they would just be alpha men like Clemente instead of fucking betas, they absolutely could write that fucking check, and they'd feel wonderful about themselves.
You feel good. Yeah.
Mackenzie Bezos does that shit all the time, and she's not going to go broke anytime soon. All the interest she makes, she just keeps giving it away.
Yeah, and he's pissed about that.
She's not trying to build a fucking vagina rocket or some shit. She's just fucking giving money away to people who need it.
I might go for a ride on that.
So, of course you would, but I'm just saying, there's super earners or super owners. They're completely don't even put Clemente in a class.
Oh God, no.
He's
just a good example.
He's an amazing humanitarian,
and that's the whole thing. We'll go out and we'll get CTE, and they're the motherfuckers that are going to be billionaires from it. So they don't really give a shit at this point.
No, they don't. They never did.
The more they make, the less they apparently give a shit. So it's up to us to quit. And again, the only reason that shit happens is because we allow it. This hero worship. And Scott Galloway also said something like, the reason we allow it is because Americans are so optimistic. We literally fucking believe we're going to be farting silk with Elon someday, which is just, I'm 56. It ain't happening.
It's not happening.
And keep in mind, Galloway's a guy that starts startups and sells them for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, give a little background on Scott Galloway for us.
Well, I just want to say that he is a successful business person that makes a lot of money, but he's completely transparent about where he makes his money, how he makes his money, and his willingness to be an affront to where we're heading. I think it's scary to certain individual billionaires as well, because this direction is not sustainable. The way that you fix this sort of thing is through war, famine, or revolution. Not great choices, but it's the facts.
Yeah.
And I think that he's willing
Or a
to.
pandemic.
Why do you think they
maybe
buried
willing to,
Luigi so quick? They buried Luigi Mangione because that's a shot in the revolution against
Yeah.
the healthcare system. That was literally the first shot in a revolution. And then all of a sudden the elites got together and said, let's bury this fucking guy. And if they could, they'd probably kill his ass. But he's so well protected because he's a superhero in prison that I guess we get to see this out to the end. But again, what are we going to do once this trial starts? Are we going to be out in the street? Are we going to say this is a bullshit terrorism charge? Or, I mean, you know, they've started in on us. Again, the Pelosi's and the Trumps hang out together.
Yeah.
Didn't know that shit till
and
today.
The Clintons, I mean, they're all together, right?
Yes,
They're all
the
in the same
Clintons
club.
they go to each other's weddings. They encourage each other to run for fucking president. They are in a club we're not in. And they're so close to this cash, this ridiculous. I mean, Elon Musk has a lot of money, people. A lot of money. I don't think you understand. And his investment was so low, like Rob pointed out. And now he's holding hands with Trump, and he's the co-president. And Trump seems to be his bitch a little bit, but Trump will get sick of it. But yeah, go ahead.
Do you happen to have an image of the cover of the New Yorker that's coming up?
Oh yeah, I can get that.
This is how Leon pictures it.
Yeah, it happens in every industry too. My producer Melissa was telling me even Big Potato has been rigging the price of potatoes for years. There's only 3 potato companies in America.
Coffee too.
And they all raise their prices exactly the same way at the same time. And they just fuck us. It's just collusion. And they get away with it because they don't want any regulation. And everybody in this country thinks that regulation is bad because it stymies growth. No, it stymies theft. And they're stealing from the middle class. So you got to kind of wake up on that one.
Well, it's so short-sighted too, because once the middle class is hollowed out and it's well on its way, who's going to buy your shit? When people are spending all of their disposable income on just basic living, right? Groceries, putting gas in their tank. Who's going to buy all that shit?
Well, I don't know.
And an interesting offshoot of that is I saw that people like you are getting off Facebook, and Zucker made the comment that he doesn't care because he'll just create AI. Here's your cover, by the way. He'll just create AI.
And what's been cut out is Trump being forced to the side.
AI generated people on Facebook. So it looks like he still has the masses. But the short-sightedness is that people don't buy advertising to sell to bots.
Yeah, so and bots don't buy shit.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work, but he's aware of it. And as you keep saying, he's kind of indifferent or careless about it.
He doesn't care. Dude, these people, they do not care. They live in their own little bubble. But like we said, when the shit hits the fan and everything comes down and their money is worthless, you better watch your back. You can burrow into your luxury shelter and go slowly insane in there.
Sure.
But you better keep an eye on your security guys, because their family's got to eat too. And you know what?
Hire me for head of security, any billionaire, please. And then when the apocalypse comes, whatever. Well, I'll take care of you. Don't worry. Wink.
And we've talked about like the costs and stuff, and we keep talking about healthcare, which we find important for every individual in this country to have access to, and rightfully so.
And our generation's getting older. We're going to need more of it.
Sure. Gene, you sent me some housing cost numbers just from 4 years ago. I think the cost of housing was about $290,000 to buy a house. 4 years later, it's up to $420,000. Interest rates were at 3%. They're now up to 7%. Crazy. It's not uncharted territory, but it's more about the why. Like where's the money's all getting sucked up type of thing. We know that hedge funds, and there are some bills that are coming up in Congress to limit it. We're buying single family homes as an investment. And then you couldn't find housing in certain, maybe desirable school districts. I mean, they weren't buying shit boxes. And it just makes it harder for everybody that's a daily worker type of thing and doesn't have maybe that passive income that they have rolling in. I'll only finish on this. The average tax rate for these billionaires, once they go through all their funky channels, and this was also said by Galloway, 6%.
It's ridiculous.
And that's just insane. I mean, I don't know how you pull that kind of money in that goes into roads or the environment or any cause you have that the government pays for, it's being limited drastically. So
yeah, and and they'll just build their own roads. They've already got their own fire departments now in California.
when we were in San Diego, Billy, it was the same thing. They showed 2 houses, one on fire who didn't have insurance and paid the fire department, and the house next to it, which was guarded by sprinklers and firemen and was fine.
Yeah,
that's not right.
They are separating themselves. Whatever city you're in, take a drive out to the way exurbs, and you'll see these giant fucking mansions these people are building way out in the middle of nowhere because they want to be away from us.
When they called it white flight back in the day, I moved to St. Louis and they were like, why are you living in that area? And people did. They went out to the exurbs. And now it's not even about necessarily race as much as I want to get away from you. I could be the next big boy on the block. So
yeah, I mean, and there's
very welcoming.
Yeah, I don't like being outside of the city areas. Really, I'm not comfortable going out.
I can't breathe out there.
All these, I don't care for it. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
I'm a city kid again, so I was in the burbs for 18 years. It was a fucking nightmare. There was like 2 black people out there, and I was the biggest one, so everybody fucking noticed me.
So, and again, it's Saturday, so we're gonna jump back into a little bit of sports here. But Gene, I wanted you to explain this. I have a photo up here of
that's Jim
Kansas
Tyre,
City Chief, Jim Tyre. More to the point of his uniform is this helmet that just looks odd. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I don't know about that helmet per se, but he had like the biggest head in the NFL at the time when he got drafted. But when he went to Ohio State, they could not find a helmet big enough to fit him. So they took a regular size helmet and they cut it in half, and then they put something in between it and taped it back together, and that's how he played in college.
Taped it back together?
Yes, correct. A strip. They called it a strip down the middle to put it back together to make it so, because his head was enormous. He must have had 8. And what's the biggest head you guys ever had to deal with? Morton? How big? Do you remember? Over 8?
Yeah, it was 9 and a quarter, maybe.
Yeah,
insane.
Morton had a giant head.
Dude had a bigger head, and then when he got to the NFL. You saw how weirdly shaped that helmet was, but that was a specially made helmet. I don't think that one was cut in half. It was specially made.
And just to clarify, Morton Anderson is the Great Dane, Hall of Fame place kicker. Correct. Played for several teams, including
awesome dude,
Atlanta, and a great guy.
Head shaped like a Canadian from South Park. Anyway, this guy Tyre, he played 14 years, and he was like a giant amongst boys. He was like 6'6". 300 pounds, and back then, that was
unusual then.
That was unusually large, but he banged his head a lot, played 13 of his 14 years for the Chiefs, retired, got into a couple businesses, had 4 kids, and then I think in 1980, just woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, took his 38 upstairs, shot his wife in the head, and then shot himself. Woke up one of the kids, but the kid was so terrified, did not go into the room for 2 hours, and then called the police after 2 hours. The police showed up. These 2 were dead. Obviously, nobody knew about CT at the time. That this guy had just everybody loved him. All his teammates loved him. All the players' wives loved him. He was not an aggressive guy at all. He did go to the doctor a couple days before with abdominal pains and headaches. And the doctor basically said, you're depressed, you need a shrink. And the last thing she said to the doctor as she was walking out the door, because his wife went on the appointment with her, was basically, there's something not right with Jim. There's something wrong with this guy. And then 2 days later, murder-suicide. So anyway, he would have been a first ballot, second ballot Hall of Famer. But after that murder in 80, they just kind of, you know what the NFL does. They don't investigate. They don't worry about head injuries. They just buried him for 40 years. But he's back up for a potential Hall of Fame nod.
Oh, nice.
I think I don't know what special committee it is, but he has a chance. I think
senior committee maybe.
Yeah, there's 5 people in there, and 3 of them are going. He might be one of them. And his family wants it that way. They've all forgiven him. His kids have all forgiven him. His 4 adult kids, and we know about CTE now. We know about these things. And this guy didn't walk around life being an asshole. He was a good dude. So clearly something happened there. And, you know, of course, he had money trouble, so they immediately wanted to attribute it to money trouble or not having a job or what. But come on, man, 14 years, helmet taped together in college, literally taped together in college. Terrible equipment back. I mean, terrible equipment back then. Encouraged to actually hit with your head back then.
Yeah.
You had the chicken. I don't know if people know this, but back in the day, you had the chicken wing everything.
Yep.
You could not hold
You
like
couldn't
modern
punch.
day NFL. You could not punch. You had to do that. So these guys did a lot of headbutt and a lot of.
And the head slap was still legal.
Oh my God, yeah.
And you know, someone like I mean, who were the players that used to tape lead into their gloves?
A couple of Raiders, I'm sure.
Raiders,
Right.
yeah.
So
Yeah, Otis Sistrunk. I mean, and you know, Deacon Jones had a fearsome head slap. I
head
mean,
slap, sure.
Oh
So
my God, yeah.
I mean, along with the head slap and the cheating, it was a way more brutal game than I even played, and I played a super brutal game compared to today's standards. But yeah, and he was a beast. So I can only imagine he was just ramrodding guys with his head because he could. You know, he was a monster. But he might go to the Hall of Fame. Anyway, I wonder. I was asking Rob about this the other day. I saw a clip on Dwight Clark catching that ball in the NFC Championship game.
The catch.
Yeah, and as you know, he died of ALS in 2018, I think. Diagnosed in 2017. Kind of went quick. But you remember how we used to see that catch every year during the playoffs? You used to see it.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I don't see it anymore. They don't really show that play anymore, and I wonder if they're not making the correlation of ALS to football, but they kind of are by kind of not showing the play anymore because they don't really show that shit anymore.
I don't know. I wonder because I know that NFL Films did. They had a reunion.
Okay.
And I think it was all his old teammates came when he was dying of ALS.
Right.
And you know, it was an NFL Films production, and it was obviously done when Steve Sable was still alive, who's since passed away.
Who we love.
So they acknowledged it, but I don't know. It's a good question, dude, because they bury things.
Was Steve Sable brain cancer? I can't remember.
I think it was brain cancer.
Okay.
He had some type of cancer, yes.
Dude, I loved Steve Sable. I loved NFL Films of that era.
And you guys worked in the NFL. Did you ever wonder about what the fuck are they spraying the grass? That there's not one single weed here? Or is this plastic we're laying on top of fucking toxic at all? Now those players have to worry about those black BBs going into their lung and shit. There's a thing.
Oh man, yeah.
Soccer players, especially goalies, have this condition now because they take so many beads into their face, those little black BBs that are in turf, and they inhale the motherfuckers.
Wow.
And it fucks up their lungs. So, I mean,
it's just tire.
Turf might be softer, but it hasn't really gotten any safer, I don't think. But I wonder what they sprayed all sorts of chemicals. I mean, those fields were pristine usually.
Oh yeah.
And not to
Philadelphia wasn't.
That was turf though, right?
Yeah, you remember that uneven turf with those seams?
Yeah, that was where Steve Jorgensen got hit in the nuts his first game, right?
Yes. Veteran Stadium.
Someone chucked a golf ball from
the upper deck,
nosebleeds, and it bounced off the hard ass turf and dropped him right in the fucking balls. And he still has that golf ball today. He used to carry it in the shaving kit. So,
dude, the way he told that story was so funny.
Out on Jack Clark's catch here, you can see it's by the fingertips from this angle.
Great catch.
Great catch, great play.
So that's like the first famous play I remember. Like, you know, when I started paying attention to football, I started playing football. I just remember seeing that play all the time, every year, especially during the playoffs.
Yeah.
NBC, CBS, whoever was showing had the playoff game, they would always show this clip. And I just don't feel like I've seen it since the guy's died. And I wonder if the NFL just kind of subliminally gets rid of shit when players die of things like ALS or brain cancer or.
I mean, we have talked about suicide. This though. I mean, is it more about like who that's of interest to? Like maybe they're beyond our generation and moving on to the next one to show.
I thought about that.
That might be enticing.
Yeah, plenty more. There's 1,000 more highlights now since that highlight. Absolutely.
That's true.
I thought about that.
So this, okay. So this was 81, right? The 81 season. So essentially 40 some years ago from us, right?
Yeah.
So if you go back to when we were watching in the 70s and 80s, you'd be watching clips from the 40s. Maybe. Jesus, that's depressing.
Thanks for ruining my Saturday.
Well, I
know,
mean,
right?
Bill, you were born in '66, right, Bill?
65, but still an Xer, not a boomer.
Remember all those shows you grew up with too. All those lovely ladies you were spanking it to when you were a kid. They were all born in the 40s and the 30s and the 20s. I mean, Mrs. Howell from Gilligan's Island, you love her. I know you spanked it to her.
I didn't like her. I liked June Cleaver. I thought June was attractive.
And she was only
All
how
right,
old was she?
people. If we're going into this, then we're going to get started right away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to morph into it. He was talking about television, what we used to watch, and how old the clips were. I just started thinking about some of the lady sitcom ladies that we thought, some of the moms we thought were attractive.
Mrs. Cleaver on Leave It to Beaver, it was black and white, but she had very pointy lingerie, and I think that was attractive to younger men of the generation.
Were the Cleavers in separate beds? Do you remember? Did they do the bedroom scene?
They never showed their bedroom.
That's a good question.
Okay.
But the famous comment was, Ward, don't you think you were a little hard on the beaver last night? Well, I'm assuming they were in the same bed.
And Ward would just smirk.
That made it naughty. That made her an icon.
Well, we can move on to Bewitched. I thought
Elizabeth Montgomery was gorgeous.
Very attractive.
Yeah, hot look.
I think Uncle Bill's weirdest one is this one, Mrs. Cunningham.
Dude, and she was only like 40 when I'm watching that show. I'm thinking she was like in her 50s.
Mom, dude, she's an original MILF. What are you talking about, Rob? You're such a younger.
All right.
My goodness.
Yeah, look at her there. She looks great.
Here she is with Fonzie.
Yeah. What's wrong with her?
Yeah, maybe a little hippie, but
wrong with her.
What the fuck's on Fonzie's head?
A hat.
They couldn't find a hat to fit that guy.
Oh Lord, he's a small dude, isn't he?
He's a little guy.
He is. He's pretty tiny.
That looks like Luigi and Mario's hat from the Super Mario Brothers.
We're keeping Luigi alive.
If you look in the back, you can see the original guy.
Gary Marshall.
Gary Marshall, thank you.
Oh yeah.
If you go too past him, the guy in the batting helmet, Uncle Bill, he's practically famous.
Clint Howard.
Oh, that's Cunningham's little brother, right?
Yeah. Richie Cunningham's little brother, Clint Howard.
Yeah. Clint Howard. Yeah. That's Clint Howard. Whenever they need someone real ugly for a movie, they call Clint Howard. Great actor, but I mean, he always plays those roles of just like I
made a career out of it. He was he was the kid in the backseat of the limo in Night Shift. Hey kid, you like music?
That's beautiful. Oh my God, Aaron Gray.
Aaron Gray.
Buck Rogers, Silver Spoons.
Spoons.
Yeah, she's definitely.
Also, she had a very good costume design as well, which I think was a real attention grabber. Let me see if I can find her. Nonetheless, as we move on and I look for that, you always had these three wonderful ladies. Charlie's Angels.
How long was Farrah Fawcett even on that show?
One season.
Not very long. Do you know
one time
came
on to bigger and better things?
Yeah. I mean, the original debate obviously is the Ginger versus Marianne.
For Gen X, that is like a big original debate on who was hotter.
It is. I was all in on Marianne.
I think you virtue signaling pussies are all saying Marianne, but you're secretly spanking it to fucking Ginger. So because I used to say Marianne a lot too, but let's be clear, Ginger's the one that looks eminently bangable.
Yes,
absolutely, no doubt. But Ginger or Marianne to me, like nice with the possibility of naughty or nasty, is way hotter than just straight up hot.
So you had a lot of fantasies with your sitcoms. That's interesting for being a young kid. There's Aaron Gray.
There she is in the Buck Roger outfit.
She got lots of sexy pictures back from the 70s and early 80s. So she wasn't afraid to show a little whatever.
Yeah.
And people were okay with that.
It was a great era.
Yeah.
Who was that? Who was the lady from Escape from New York? What was her name? Remember? Giant chest.
Escape from New York.
Was she ever in a sitcom or no?
Adrienne Barbeau.
Adrienne Barbeau. Was she ever in a sitcom or was she just movies?
I think she was just movies.
Okay. But I had to bring her up because I know Bill was all over that one.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny because I was I was scrolling through, I think it was either TikTok or Instagram, and there was a clip, a short of her that showed up from an appearance on the Tonight Show, and she was wearing like a very revealing blouse.
Mm-hmm.
And she made some kind of remark that just made made Johnny Carson just pause and do one of those double takes into the camera. Like it was kind of a come hither remark.
Maybe it was something like this, Uncle Bill.
Oh,
it was a lot like that.
Cannonball Run.
Great movie.
Right up there with the Melon Festival.
They did.
Uncle Bill.
Yeah, that was blatant false advertising. I mean, we still had a good time, Gene, but yeah, it was not what I expected.
It was not the Melon Festival we wanted to attend.
Yeah, she was in Creep Show as well, was she not?
She was.
Creep Show,
yeah.
She was the mean wife on the.
Well, she wasn't in a sitcom, but she was definitely on that list of movies or one of those things that we were like, oh wow.
Definitely had a good look.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her.
Oh yeah,
we like that. That's she gets a pass even if she didn't make a sitcom.
She's still alive, right? She'd be in her 70s now, I imagine, right? Yeah.
I think she's still alive. And then we can't fail to mention Mrs. Brady.
Right.
Greg noticed her.
Yes, maybe a little too much.
It wasn't really his step.
You guys better put like Mrs. Cosby up there for some of the black guys or something. You guys are being very white with all these selections.
Well, I don't disagree with you.
What about Lionel's girlfriend?
There you go.
Lionel's girlfriend. Okay, that works. Lionel's girlfriend, very hot, very cute.
Yeah, dude, I did not play favorites with my spank bank. Trust me.
I'm with you. No, dude, Bill, I've known you like most of my life. I realize this.
And then what was Dynamite? What was that sitcom?
Good Times. Jimmy Walker.
Good Times.
Good Times. Now his sister, I thought, was also very attractive.
Yeah, she was cute, but don't say Florida because no,
I wasn't gonna say her.
Okay, I mean, some moms know. Like I'm not doing Linda Lavin either from Alice. So
Ooh.
Yeah, no Linda Lavin.
Linda Lavin no way.
Let's start with the sister.
So I'm from the Jeffersons just because the chest.
Beautiful woman. And there's Buffalo Butt.
That's Buffalo Butt. You're right.
And what do you think they fucking called me growing up? By the way,
Buffalo Butt.
That was the number one insult towards me was Buffalo Butt, mostly from the girls.
And who had the last laugh? Whose butt made them a fortune?
I don't know. I'm still scarred from it, Bill. I don't know. I think I need therapy. So.
People love that butt. You know what? People talked about it.
I remember now. It's flat like my mom's. I got a Lois ass now. I used to be able to put a scotch on the back of it and fucking wear a G-string, but now it's flat.
Dang. Dude, when I was with the Rams, I was talking to Kyle Turley. He was there. And dude, he remembered your butt.
Oh,
it was memorable. And people loved it.
It was a big butt, but it was all muscle. That muscle is gone.
Yeah, it was.
This is Flo, Alice, and Vera. Which one are you picking, Rob?
From Alice. It's a tough one for me. I mean, Flo had such a potty mouth that she's probably the most fun. Vera was probably
She's not a real redhead though, dude. The drapes don't match the curtains or whatever. That's a wig. She's really a blonde. So
she probably gets the tilt for myself.
But probably a brunette who dyed her hair blonde is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah.
Who's a real blonde anymore? It's very rare.
Agreed.
Anyway,
I kind of like Vera.
They were all right. Vera looks a little rode hard and put away wet there. I didn't remember her looking that beat up. Linda looks a lot fresher than Vera does.
She does? Yeah. I don't remember her looking that good.
Yeah, neither do I.
She always seemed kind of like a mean mom to me.
Tommy, her son, is dead now, died of
that's crazy.
Like in his mid-50s, like a few years ago. I have no idea what illness, but yeah.
Is that a better picture of Vera?
That's a much better picture of Vera.
That's a much better.
She got makeup on, her hair's up. Yeah.
Yeah. Leave the hat on, honey.
But I mean, no one's picking this group out of all the people you just showed, though. Let's be honest.
How much sexual harassment do you think Mel Sharples was throwing down as he was dishing out that crappy food in that diner?
Every day.
Every day.
And there's Vera. My goodness.
A little more current Vera.
Linda was a Broadway lady, right? Broadway.
Yes.
But she just passed away this year, I believe.
She did recently.
Yeah, recently.
And an appearance on Sopranos.
That's
crazy.
What did she play?
She played an insufferably smug psychiatrist. Tony and Carmela's daughter, Meadow, wanted to take some time off and travel through Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And so they sent her to the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist's like, oh yeah, blow it off. You don't need that. I've got a very good friend at the University of Barcelona. It's a hot school. Like, it was just creepy watching this
creepy.
late 40s, early 50s something woman's hot school. Like,
and being Alice, come on, enough already.
yeah.
What's
Alice found a new career.
her face was also on The Sopranos, right? That would have been considered hot back in the day. Annabella Sciorra, wasn't she on The Sopranos as well?
Still hot.
Yeah. Okay.
Gloria, yeah, she played Tony's mistress.
I think she's a Weinstein victim, and then she dropped
Oh,
off
really?
the face of the planet and then popped back up on The Sopranos a few years after.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, she was really good on that. She
was in a
run
bunch of stuff in the 80s, wasn't she? She had
in the 90s too. I think she was in a movie with Gary Oldman called Romeo is Bleeding. That was really good.
That was a fucked up movie. I remember.
Did we watch that together? We might have.
I have no idea, but that was a whacked out movie.
I hate the Falcon Inn.
Yeah, it's possible, but I can't stand movies like that. They're too weird.
It was good though.
The last one I'm going to put up is this clip.
One Day at a Time.
One Day at a Time.
Valerie Bertinelli and Mackenzie Phillips, and what's the middle lady? Who's the middle lady? What's her name?
That's Bonnie Franklin. That's the mom.
Bonnie Franklin.
Uncle Bill never cared for the haircut.
I didn't care for the mom's haircut. I had, my thing was for Valerie Bertinelli for sure.
Yeah, and dude, they used to call her fat in the 80s. The producer,
I know, right?
The director used to fucking say lose weight to her all the time because she was acting next to a meth head. But I mean, you know, well, Mackenzie Phillips was a fucking mess. You know about her story.
Sure.
I won't get into all that, but it was bad. So I've never seen a bigger train wreck that's still alive than Mackenzie Phillips.
It's amazing she is after what she's been through.
Yeah, horrible shit. But anyway, yeah, that was a pretty good start, Rob. I'm sure there's more that Rob or Bill put in the spank bank, but
yeah, I have to dig
and this is the part where we asked the listener viewer to comment in case we've missed anybody. I know there's a lot of sitcom hotties out there that we're probably stepping over.
Yeah, well, they're gonna bring up. Well, I mean, they're gonna delve into probably what was the name? The General Lee, that goddamn racist.
Oh, Daisy Dukes.
Daisy Duke, and
Barbara Bach.
all over the place.
Was that her name?
Barbara Bach, yeah.
That's Ringo Starr's wife.
Yeah, Ringo Starr's wife. Yeah, what
but that wasn't Daisy Duke, though, was it? That wasn't Barbara Bach.
No.
She was a different girl.
Yeah, different girl. You're right.
Yeah.
But she wore Daisy Dukes on the Duke Boys. Not Barbara Bach.
Hence the term. She invented that term.
Well, maybe we'll just have to do a movie one. No, we mostly did TV today. We'll have to do a movie one. Who are all the girls we looked at in the movies when we were growing up? So
Jacqueline Bisset comes up right away.
Jacqueline Bisset. Yeah, absolutely.
What was that? There was a movie. It was called Class with Andrew McCarthy and Rob Lowe.
Oh,
that's not Jacqueline Bisset, is it?
Was that one? That was her, Rob Lowe's mom?
Yes. Well, no, it was the other guy's mom that Rob Lowe was sleeping with.
No, it was Rob Lowe's mom.
No, other way around. Andrew McCarthy was.
Andrew McCarthy was banging Rob Lowe's mom.
Who would want to sleep with that guy? He always annoyed me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But
there was a lot of them. We'll have to look it up.
Else.
There was a huge list of like 80s ladies that went away, and I'm not just talking about Bond girls. I'm talking about all those movies.
Yeah.
And 90s girls too. I mean, the whole like from Elizabeth Shue, like Karate Kid, like well, that was an 80s movie, but
true.
Dude, Elizabeth Shue showed up in that series, The Boys.
She did. Yeah,
she looked
pretty good.
She looked great. Maybe it's because we're older, but dude, it's really lame how Hollywood ages female actors out like that. And you know what they have to go through to even stay on the radar when, dude, they still look great. And maybe it's because we're older now.
Joe Pesci's girlfriend and My Cousin Vinny was Marissa Tomei, and they literally had to put tape on his eyes and tape him back to his head because he didn't have plastic surgery to try to get him to look a little younger because of the wrinkles and the crow's feet and stuff. And I don't know, somehow it worked, but yeah, men can go on forever, and the girls keep getting younger, and then the ladies. Besides Meryl Streep, who the fuck works after the age of 50? So
yeah,
that's Daisy Duke, right? What the hell's her name?
Daisy Duke.
Kathleen something, right?
What was her name?
Kathleen something.
Catherine
Bach.
Catherine, okay.
Catherine Bach.
Not Barbara Bach, Catherine Bach.
Catherine,
good get, Mel.
Something like that. I don't know.
Dude, if you go back, go back to that last picture with the three of them. The last time we watched Django, I realized that this dude on the left, the dark-haired guy, was the sheriff in that scene where they
Oh, he was.
yeah.
That's funny.
Not the marshal, or not the sheriff, bring the marshal.
Right.
Yeah, that was him.
Ephraim Salam and I and everyone sitting around our lockers when we were playing for the Falcons got in a hilarious debate about watching that show, being a black man, watching that show growing up. Because and I think Ephraim Salam's parents were like, "What the hell are you watching, man? You ain't watching this shit with this rebel fucking flag on." And they didn't cuss or anything. But my parents literally let me watch it because I'm from fucking Omaha and, Nebraskans are weird. But there was a debate going on. Like half of us were allowed to watch it and half of us, the black parents, were like, hell no. So I imagine most of those people were from the South. So
that would make sense.
But it was an interesting debate.
The ladies loved Ephraim.
Yeah. And he was in broadcasting for a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he switched into because he was on CNN all the time. He was on ESPN occasionally. But I don't follow any of that shit. I don't know what he wanted to do.
I don't know. He was a good dude, though. I liked him quite a bit. Good guy. I think, I wanted to say, it would be funny. I don't think people have any idea of what kind of conversations go on in an NFL locker room from day to day. And I think that's one of the things, and I know I missed it, and I know a lot of guys you talk to, one of the things they really miss is just being in there every day. Being in there with your teammates, the conversations that come up, this, the stupid stuff you talk about, the things you laugh at.
And let's just clarify that locker room talk that you're speaking of is totally different than the grab 'em by the pussy locker room talk. Never heard that. Was not a thing. And I don't know where that came
from. Too many Bible beaters in our locker room to be running around talking about grabbing pussy. It would have not played well. I mean, how many Christian scientists and young Christian fellowship athletes did we have in that locker room? Bobby Christian
Bible
would
study.
have lost his fucking mind if I would have been running around talking about grabbing pussy. He would have smited me right fucking now. That guy was far too religious. So no,
that guy never said two
words.
In the
locker rooms because there's 100 guys in there, and some of them are quite devout, and
sure.
Some of them aren't quite so devout.
Well, and let's take a guy as an example that's not devout. But could you imagine saying something like that to Caly Matthews, or how about Jesse Tuggle?
No, that would be
it's
so
not about religion. It's
it'd be about respect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and you just wouldn't do it. Those guys earn that respect.
They're there to play football. They're not there to talk about pussy, and they don't want to. So,
dude,
correct.
Clay was cool, man. He was just, that guy had the driest sense of humor in the world, and he would just give you that bemused look.
Yeah, he was never over amped up. He was never too up or too down. He was always in the middle, sort of like Bob Newhart, just kind of chill, sarcastic.
Very chill. But I remember when Campo was the equipment guy, him and Clay had this little dialogue, and he would be like, Clay, what's good in life? And Clay would look at him and say, and he'd do that line from Conan, to crush your enemies and drive them before you, and to hear the lamentations of their women and children.
That's fantastic.
Dude, that never got old.
Yeah, that's cool, because he didn't say a lot, but he did that over and over
again. I hate to beat a dead horse, but somebody's got to listen. How is he not in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
it just makes no sense.
Definitely want to revisit that. I will tell you, super genuine guy. He's at the end of his career, basically, with us in Atlanta. I saw him when we came down for the Super Bowl, and I just happened to see him in the airport. And this isn't about me being a good guy, but my point is that when I saw him going down the escalator and up and down, he was genuinely happy to see me. You could just tell that the guy's sincere, and he doesn't have to be. There's no need. I mean, sure, I worked for him essentially, but really good guy. Represented the league amazingly on several teams. He should be in the Hall of Fame, period.
Absolutely. Just, yeah.
Speaking of which, Richmond Webb should also be in the Hall of Fame. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday to my former Miami Dolphins teammate, Richmond Webb.
That dude was a baller.
Definitely a baller. Plenty of Pro Bowls. plenty of wins. They had good team. Block for Dan Marino. There's no way that guy shouldn't be in the Hall, but he'll get there. I'm sure he'll get there.
I hope so. Be while he's still, alive and able to enjoy it.
So,
yeah, that would be the nice part, that these guys are actually able to, be part of it.
Oh, and it's interesting. Like, it almost seems like you've got the Hall of Fame and you've got the Hall of Pretty Good. There's, and you can have these debates, forever about who should be in there, who shouldn't be. But, some of these guys that should be in there and that aren't, I mean, it really stands out.
Yeah, how about Morton Anderson?
The Hall of Pretty Good. Listen, Mort he's in. I mean,
Mort's in.
He's in? Oh, that's right. I keep but it took so long.
It took a long time.
It took far too long, and he was the first one banging 50-yarders consistently.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
But
with that shoe.
There's Webb up there for the happy birthday, and yes, Hall of Famer of the future.
And this guy had to go against Bruce Smith twice a year.
But Richmond didn't play tackle in college. He played guard, I believe.
Wow.
And they drafted him as the left tackle, and they drafted Keith Sims to go play left guard with him. And they went to 3 Pro Bowls in a row together. And then Richmond kept going for a few more years after that because he was just dominant. He was blocking Bruce Smith, 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
And he was doing quite well against him. He was very consistent. It wasn't like Baselli, who's in the Hall of Fame, who put together a MAGA package of one playoff game where he had a decent game against Bruce Smith. Richmond Webb was doing this year in and year out in the same conference, in the same division, every 2 or 3 times a year. And it was always a battle. I mean, Bruce Smith could rush a fucking passer. Yeah. And Richmond Webb, again, dude, I don't believe he played college. I don't believe he played tackle in college. Maybe he did his senior year. I think he was a guard, though. So he learned that shit. Just like I didn't play guard in the NFL. I played tackle in college, and they're like, you're not a tackle. And they immediately put me at guard. I mean, they're different positions. If you've never played O-line, they're entirely different positions. So I had to literally learn guard the first couple of weeks I was in Miami because I had never played that fucking position before.
Amazing.
Yeah. You played a fair bit of tackle in Cleveland, though.
Yeah, when I got traded, but Belichick knew I could play tackle. Again, Belichick was going to draft me, I think, in the second pick in the second round, but he took Ed King instead. And I think he had every intention of playing me at tackle from day one. Even though they slotted me in at guard, they had me taking all these tackle reps when I got traded here. And then Ed King got one penalty too many in the first game, and he pulled him. And then I was tackle from there on out until I broke my ribs, and then Orlando Brown took my place, and I went back down to guard. So, but yeah, it was you can do it. My arms are long enough. I'm short as shit. I'm only 6'1".
Great feet.
Yeah, but you got the feet, man. You can't coach those feet.
No, you can do it short if your arms are long enough. You can't do it with alligator arms, but if your arms are long enough, I think my arms are like the wingspan of someone like maybe 6'3", 6'4", so I could get away with it.
Yeah,
Well, and 9 years of balling, which was appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I just
because I'm a super earner, motherfucker. I'm not a super owner. I'm a super earner.
That's right.
Which means I care. If I was a super owner, I wouldn't give a fuck. But since I'm a super earner,
you wouldn't be talking to us.
I'm trying to share the wealth. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
The only reason an economy exists is to grow the fucking middle class. Or what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
It's not to fucking make billionaires. So. Absolutely. We better wake up before those motherfuckers.
Yeah. That demographic's exploding better than any other group. So we're
it's not right. And dude, they're young billionaires too. It's not like these idiots are fucking old billionaires. So this could be misery for 3 decades if we don't eat the rich.
We got to fix it.
We got it. Yeah. Pay your fucking fair share. Sorry for the F word. But
we have been lately, because we're coming up against it, the end here, trying to put forth a positive news blurb or something you've seen that would be a little bit more positive and leaving on a Saturday. I can start if you want.
Go ahead.
All right. Very simply, that the Consumer Protection Bureau is no longer, they will remove your medical bills from your credit report. Maybe you don't think credit report's that important, but to get a sniff of any kind of loan,
car loan, mortgage.
Exactly. It's a big thing. And you get one medical issue where, like we talked about that guy who had a blood test out of network and it cost him $12,000. those can be an issue, and then all of a sudden your credit report sucks. So
what do you got, Bill?
that's my positive. Uncle Bill?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a quick Google search.
Just say you had a good fucking workout and move on.
I did, yeah. Cole and I had a really productive and good leg day.
Chest and tries. What'd you do? Leg day?
Today was legs, and dude, it's fun. I love working out with Cole because I can see him getting stronger and starting to fill out.
Don't ever piss him off. He'll beat you to death.
He's going to grow into that man strength at some point. I mean, he's on his way.
Got an excellent personal trainer. He's very lucky to have that.
He's fun to work out with. He does everything you tell him. He works hard. And I asked him one day.
So what did you make him do today?
Leg day.
Today we did.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, Rob. I haven't lifted weights in fucking 40 years. What does leg day mean? What'd you do?
We did. I'd like to start out with hamstrings as opposed to quads. So we did a seated hamstring curl because the laying hamstring curl kind of hurts his back. And I think you get a better.
So you start off with the one where the girls get to look at your ass right away, right?
No. You're sitting. So you're sitting. It's almost like the leg extension. Only your heels are going over and you're pulling it back in. You're pulling your heels to your butt. Do
you stretch or do you just stretch by lifting? Do you
stretch by lifting? We'll warm up with just some lighter reps and get some blood flow going and wake up the Golgi sensors.
Yeah, what do they call that? Dynamic stretching when you just stretch by working out or some shit? Okay.
Yeah. So we'll do that. So then we did that, and then we moved on to we did leg press. Went heavy on leg press today, and then moved over to leg extension and just kind of finished them off there. So it was good. And then we finished up with some tricep.
Very good.
Why not?
My only happy thought is the Cavs are still winning, dude. Since we spoke last, they haven't lost.
And Iowa State's big victory today.
Iowa State's big victory today. My basketball
buddy.
Doing well, despite.
I have one more I wanted to add since mine was
go ahead.
Not as enticing as you two.
Mm-hmm.
We did have one of our listeners go out today and purchase some Waterloo to make sure that we weren't idiots, and he was a big fan.
I did bubbly today. I did bubbly strawberry sunset, which was delicious.
I really like that brand too, actually. But
I'm gonna do them all until one of them starts sending us free shit. So today was bubbly.
Hey, we're free agents, so we're up for grabs. Come get us.
Or Tuesday might be LaCroix. How do you say that? LaCroix.
And what's the other one? Spinnaker?
Oh, Spindrift.
Spindrift? I don't ever buy that one.
That's more of a juice. It comes with only it comes with less cans and it's more expensive. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out too.
They sell it at Trader Joe's. Are you sure we're talking about the same one?
Bubbly, Waterloo, and LaCroix are good enough for me.
I agree. The Buble is delicious.
I like the Buble. It's got the little smile on it.
Yeah, definitely.
But all right.
So does Amazon has a little smile that looks like a penis. You ever notice that?
And it goes A to Z.
I have noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they have to put a head on it, Billy?
And then you wonder why the head on his rocket is the size of John Holmes. So
and how come some of their delivery trucks look so janky?
I don't know. I like the electric ones. Those look great.
Those are new.
Wheels look too small though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the brand?
It's
it's not Tesla.
The brand of the truck is the e-truck?
It's
I don't remember.
It's modeled after
the Rivian.
Yes.
Oh, the Rivian.
That's what they are.
Oh, that's right. The headlights are Rivian. You can tell. Okay.
Correct.
Fair enough.
Listen, it's electric. I'm all about it.
A lot of times I'll see like the Amazon delivery people driving like these rentals, these beat up looking rentals. I'm like, all that money and you're sending people out in that?
In fairness, it depends on time of year. UPS will also use budget rental to get their products out to the consumer. So, but I agree with you. They could outfit these guys, especially in the summer. If you're going to have them peeing in a bottle, at least give them some air conditioning.
Don't forget, folks, Louis DeJoy is still the Postmaster General.
For some ungodly reason. Yes.
So, unbelievable. Anyway, I got a lot of bones to pick with Biden.
We're going to come back to that next week. That will have things to do with voting rights, et cetera, and access to voting. Strongly comes through the USPS. You know that we're giant supporters of the postal system. So you'll be hearing.
Bill, don't watch too much Three's Company today. I know what you're thinking about after watching all those Ginger and Marianne.
Yeah, don't show up at my house like that.
Don't be showing up at his house after watching a bunch of 80s sitcoms and shit.
I kind of like Janet.
Get the fuck out of here. She's the only one that's still alive. So
Real short, they were like, and you, I'm just going to call you Janet. You look like a Janet. Do you remember that? I forget who it
Yes.
was.
all right, well yeah,
And the
that's
fun
funny.
fact is that when Jack Tripper turns around and falls off his bike at the intro of the show, looking at the girl on the beach, that was Suzanne Summers.
Mhm.
That's right. And
Cool.
here's some just some food for thought. I'm curious. Am I the only one that really actually wondered what Mrs. Roper had under that moo-moo?
God, yes, you were the only one.
How old was Mrs. Roper at the time? I'm 56
She was probably
now.
like 35.
No, she wasn't 30.
No,
There's
I think she
way.
was-
She had to be in her 40s or 50s.
Yeah, I think she was in her early 40s, but still.
They're like our age, but younger actually than us.
Bro,
And
you
how
know,
old- how old
I've-
was Norman Fell? How old was Mr. Roper? He looked ancient.
I've
46.
seen myself on
Lou
camera.
Grant.
I look like I weigh 600 pounds on camera. Mrs. Roper probably wasn't that big. Her figure was probably fine,
Yeah.
but they
Darling
fucked
figure.
her hair and her makeup up to
Yeah,
make her look
terrible.
terrible. So
I know.
she was probably all right. I don't know.
Rose,
was
your
probably
assignment
too
is to
young
find
for
a
Mr.
picture of
Roper.
Mrs. Roper out of character.
Next time,
All right, fair enough.
Do it for your old buddy.
I will do it.
Sounds
All right,
good.
fellas, we'll pick up there Tuesday, I hope.
All right, man. Thanks for doing
All
the
right.
show.
Have a good Saturday.
Great job.
All right, peace.
All right. See you, fellas.